All right, I'd like to get the first Assembly Human Services Committee hearing going for the year of 2016. Our committee composition has changed, so as our first order of business, I would like to welcome Ms. Grove as our new vice chair of the committee, and I look forward to working with you in this year's Congress. Thank you very much. Welcome. And we have 4 bills today, and we will be limiting to 3 testimony on both sides. And the rest can definitely add on with your name and affiliation. So at this point, I'll ask the secretary to please call the roll.
Chu.
Here.
Grove. Calderon. Lopez. Mainstein. Stone.
Here.
Thurmond.
Here.
Got a quorum.
We do have a quorum. We have 4 bills, and I would like to take on the first one is AB 598 by Speaker-elect Mr. Dr. Randon.
Tough committee. Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. I'd like to start by accepting the proposed committee amendments. AB 598 codifies the role of contracting agencies and providers in family child care home education network contracts. Family child care, as you know, is an important resource for working families, particularly the working poor. These family child care homes provide child care to children during non-traditional hours, including weekends and rotating shifts, which typically a center cannot provide. It's also important to recall that these centers provide these services in the communities where people actually live. This bill codifies the specifics of these programs to provide for greater consistency of services to kids and families, and ensures that FCCHs are using the proper tools. I have witnesses here to speak in support of the bill.
Good afternoon. Donna Snaringer with the Child Care Alliance of Los Angeles. We're a co-sponsor of the bill. I would like to start by thanking Assemblymember Rendon and his staff for all their work on this bill over the past 12 months. As the Assemblymember said, family child care home education networks, which we affectionately call FECHNs to make them memorable, have been a growing part of California's child care landscape for several decades. There's good reason. Family child care providers licensed in their homes are able to offer services which meet the diverse needs of California's families. They can care for very young children, often infants and toddlers. They care for multiple aged children in the same family. They care during non-traditional work hours when families need the care. And as we know, the workforce is shifting and many families are in a situation where they need care outside of typical business hours. They also offer care that meets the linguistic and cultural preferences of families. Though these programs have emerged and evolved over the years, the statutory structure, as noted in your staff analysis, has been very limited. And we really think that putting these building blocks in place will help standardize these programs across the state. I did want to talk to you a little bit about how these programs work, just for background. Currently, local agencies contract with the Department of Education and identify providers in their local community who are interested in participation in meeting basic requirements. These same agencies enroll income-eligible families in the subsidy program. The families select the providers from the network, and then the agency works on a regular basis with the provider to provide training, mentoring, assessments, and of the child care environment, and in partnership with the provider, a developmental assessment of the child. So there are a lot of different components that happen because of the support of these networks. The Child Care Alliance of Los Angeles are co-sponsors of the bill, and we are looking forward to working with the member and with our partners in the field. We know that these are diverse programs around the state, and there continue to be some questions as we move forward on some specific technical pieces, but we really believe that this is the right step, and we urge your aye vote.
Great, thank you. Any additional witnesses in support?
I'm Lola Cornish with the California Child Care Resource and Referral Network, and we wholeheartedly support the bill and co-sponsor it.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you. Dion Eriner on behalf of SEIU and AFSCME. We also want to work with the author and with the sponsors on the bill. We have some concerns. We've been representing providers in Fetchins now for a few years, and there have been some issues that have arisen over that period of time in regards to payment procedures, when in timeliness of payments, the amount of the payments, that kind of thing, particularly if the Fetchin is under the standard reimbursement rate methodology. And so we continue to like to work with the author and the sponsors on the bill because we think that we can come to a conclusion, right, and then be able to be in support of the bill.
Thank you.
Danita Stromgren, representing the Northern Directors Group, and we're strong supporters of the bill. We feel like it's a really wonderful first step in improving a very critical portion of the child care delivery system, family child care providers, and that it will greatly improve the quality of the services available, serving particularly those families that oftentimes need care during non-traditional hours. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Any opposition? We do have a motion and a second. Mm-hmm. Any questions from members?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So my kids all went to family. They didn't go to regular daycare or child care providers. They went to I'm As Busy Bee daycare, but it was in her house. It was a home daycare. She provided excellent care, and it was a lot less expensive than what you would pay at Garden Pathways, for instance, that was probably $200 more a month. So I think that these child care homes provide significant care for kids. I never had a bad experience. You haven't represented any bad experiences. And I guess the reason why I'm asking is because it was, when I was making minimum wage, back then it was like $5.25 an hour, or $6 an hour. When I was making minimum wage, it was cost effective for me to keep my kids in this type of daycare instead of paying for the additional whatever you want to call it. I have a concern that if you guys implement this piece of legislation, I'll make note that she put a none on it, so it's not like a complete oppose. But I have a concern that if you guys do this and this piece of legislation passes and all these small independent little child care facilities that just love and take care of children are brought into this big separate organization, and then, you bring the unions in to unionize child care, what happens to the cost of families that used to be like me when I made minimum wage that could only afford $250 a month for child care and not $500 a month for child care for the expense, especially in the rural communities or in the deep inner city communities that can't afford? I mean, I represent constituents that can't afford child care. They're picking between either taking, I represent that. So what happens? I mean, is that the goal? What's your thought on that?
Good question. Thank you first for sharing your experiences. And with respect to your district, I ran for the Mexican American Opportunity Foundation centers in Kern County and Imperial County, so similar types of communities. A couple of things. First of all, this bill simply codifies existing requirements, so it doesn't establish new requirements. Secondly, this bill also has an appeals process for those centers that feel as though, if they don't meet the initial requirements, there's an appeals process on top of that. Also, with respect to labor unions were involved in the initial stages of this bill. They're no longer involved. You heard from a union here today. They don't have a position on the bill. So I very much appreciate your questions, but I'm not sure if folks...
The only thing that I would add is family child care is a more affordable option for families because they have a lot less overhead, generally speaking. As the Assembly member said, this codifies existing subsidy programs. These family child care homes are not 100% subsidized. So there are kids who come in with a subsidy who are with fee-paying families, and a predominant number of them are paid based on the going regional market rate, which is done through a survey with the state. So their fees are based on what the current market is paying. So that would be the only thing I would add.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Excuse me. I think it's a good bill, and it will definitely improve the quality of the family child care. And so the recommendation is to pass as amended to the Assembly Appropriation Committee. We have Mr. Thurman has a motion and second by Mr. Stone. So with that, do you want to close?
It's been about 4 months since I've done a bill. I think I'm supposed to ask for your aye vote. Just respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you.
It's in here somewhere.
All right. So, Secretary, would you please call the vote?
AB 598 by Assemblymember Rendon. Motion is due pass as amended to the Appropriations Committee. Chair Chu.
Aye.
Grove. Grove, aye. Calderon. Calderon, aye. Lopez. Lopez, aye. Mainshine. Stone. Stone, aye. Thurman. Thurman, aye. The bill has 6 votes.
We have 2, 4, 8. Yeah, 8 to no. So
6 votes.
6 votes. All right.
We only have 7
I'm
members.
sorry. Why am I counting 8? All right. So we'll leave the roll open for Mr. Manshine. The second one we're going to take up is item number 4 by Mr. Gibson.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members. Thank you for allowing me to present Assembly Bill 1067, which seeks to update the Foster Youth Bill of Rights. I'd like to begin by accepting the committee's amendments and thank the chair and the committee for your work on making this bill a great bill that's before us today. This bill will help specify a more comprehensive list of the rights of foster children and ensure that all foster youth are fully informed of their rights. Current law establishes a list of current rights for foster children, but provides no provisions for how or when the rights should be updated. This bill will require a convening of a work group consisting of foster youth and foster parents to review law to identify the rights of children in foster care, recommends updates to the Foster Youth Bill of Rights, review the manner in which foster children are made aware of these rights, and to recommend changes in the way in which foster children are notified of their rights. This bill... Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Thank you very much. This bill will ensure that the foster youth are aware of their rights and are actively involved in updating of those rights. With me, we have some organizations here who will introduce themselves in support of this bill.
Are you Kui? Nick now Tristan Severns. Hello, my name is Tristan Severns. I'm here as a youth advisory board member of Humboldt County Transition Age Youth Collaboration, and I'm here today to act as a voice for my people, the Yurok tribe, and on behalf of foster youth in California. As a young Native youth advocate, I can speak to many Native youths that end up in the foster care system. Most of my siblings, cousins, and extended family members have been or are currently in the foster care system. There was so much abuse, cruelty that my family faced from the hands of either the foster care system, the education system, or the justice system. Too many times my family came to me with stories of either being beaten, starved, or mistreated by a foster home or group home. Too many times were forced out of school and did not receive appropriate education. It's all too common, too, that young people in my family were given and take strong psychotropic medications without questioning and without other appropriate and cultural relevant services being provided. The people in my family did not know they had rights, and were in many situations in the foster care where they didn't know they had any or know where to go to turn to get help. Tribal communities across the state of California are seeing more and more young Native American people entering the foster care system. I'm sorry. Sorry, it's a little touchy note for me. we need to do more to make sure that even foster youth know their rights and how to advocate for themselves. Foster youth and their families need to be informed of their rights, including education, mental health, and rights as Native people. When I showed the Foster Bill of Rights and the Mental Health Bill of Rights to other foster youth, many of them had no idea they existed, or let alone heard of them. I'm here today because I believe we need to help the next generation of young Native foster youth and all foster youth to help provide them with information they need to advocate themselves, to provide them with a safe and more effective foster care system. AB 1067 is important in making sure that foster youth know their rights, and I urge you today to pass AB 1067. Wokla.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nefertiti Franks, and I'm from California Youth Connection. I'm part of the Legislative Committee, and I'm from San Francisco. AB 67 will convene a work group of adults who want the best for fosters and to build a collaboration with stakeholders and youth. This group will explore new pathways, build new platforms needed in the foster care system, and create accountability to depend on from CDSS, licensing, care providers, and stakeholders. The AB 1067 work group will discuss the educational rights to ensure that foster youth get a quality education, and also go into the mental health portion, just to integrate the mental health bill of rights in regards to the psychotropic medicines, which are not currently included in the bill, and also KDA implementation and other things to work on too. This is AB 1067, the Foster Youth Bill of Rights, is very important for youth because it builds voices in foster care. Youth can self-advocate for their needs, and this is very important for building self-sufficiency for foster youth growing up in care. So in the future, they can effectively communicate with adults about their needs. So I really urge you to please vote yes on our bill of AB 1067. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Any additional witnesses in support of the bill?
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Kathy Sunderling McDonald with the County Welfare Directors Association in support.
Thank you.
Stuart Thomas on behalf of the California Medical Association in support.
Thank you.
Dave Nielsen, California Alliance to Child and Family Services, strong support.
Thank you.
Lydia Bourne representing American Academy of Pediatric California Division in support.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Rochelle Trottenberg. I'm a former foster youth and the lead youth organizer for the Humboldt County Transition Age Youth Collaboration, and we urge you to support AB 1067. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Eugene Lawden. I'm high up. I'm Eugene Lawden, and I support AB 1067. I am a former foster youth and a current member of the Youth Advisory Board, which is hosted by Humboldt County Transition Age Youth Collaboration.
Good afternoon. Leah Lamatina, Humboldt County Transition Age Youth Collaboration and adult supporter for California Youth Connection. I support this bill.
Thank you.
My name is Trinity Williams, and I am currently in the foster care system, and I am on the Youth Advisory Board of the Humboldt County Transition Age Youth Collaboration, and a current member of California Youth Connection, and I support this bill.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Miranda Magnata from Humboldt County Transition Age Youth Collaboration, and I am the president of Humboldt California Youth Connection, and I support this bill.
Good morning. My name is Mariah Corder. I'm here on behalf of California Youth Connection. I'm the advisory board co-chair for our Youth Advisory Board, and I urge you to support this bill.
Thank you.
Ed Howard, Children's Advocacy Institute at the University of San Diego School of Law, also in support.
Okay, thank you. Is there any witnesses in opposition? Seeing none, I just wanted to mention that Vice Chair Grove had a motion before yours, and Mr. Calderon seconded. So the motion recommendation is due pass as amended to the Assembly Appropriation Committee. A member, do you want to close?
Just simply respectfully ask when I vote. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Right. Thank you very much. I support the bill and this effort to update the Foster Youth Bill of Rights. So any questions from the members? Anybody? All right.
I just wanted, thank you, Assemblymember Gilson, to bring this
will be great needed in our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any additional questions, comments? Secretary, would you please call the roll?
AB 1067 by Assemblymember Gibson. Motion is due pass as amended to the Appropriations Committee. Chu?
Aye.
Chu, aye. Grove? Grove, aye. Calderon? Calderon, aye. Lopez? Lopez, aye. Mainshine? Stone? Stone, aye. Thurmond? Thurmond, aye. The bill is out 6-0.
All right, the bill is out. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Roll call again.
We have two more.
Thank you.
I see Ms. Gonzalez is here. Ms. Gonzalez, AB 492.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chair and members. Any of us who have been parents or grandparents, brothers or sisters, aunts or uncles know that diapers are expensive. And diaper need which is a lack of adequate diaper supply, is experienced by 1 in 3 families in the United States. Researchers have found that parents are forced to resort to leaving their child in a dirty diaper when it should have been changed or trying to clean and reuse them. Despite their necessity, diaper affordability is not addressed by any of our public assistance programs. Nope, you can't use food stamps. You can't buy it with WIC. There's no way, if you are on public assistance, to be able to find the dollars to provide for diapers. There are also very few nonprofit resources that provide diapers. We have some critical diaper banks that we appreciate. And there's an incredible network of organizations around the country that try to distribute many diapers, but they can only reach so many people, and they're not in some regions at all, including my own. On top of this, most child care options require a daily supply of between 6 and 10 diapers for the parent to leave a child for a work day. This can become very expensive and sometimes a barrier to work. Assembly Bill 492 will offer a monthly $50 diaper voucher per child aged 2 or under for women who qualify for child care through CalWorks, meaning that she is trying to better herself by either attending school, getting job training, or actually working. If no diapers means no child care, it means no work. So if we really believe in ensuring that people can get off of public assistance, that they can actually better their own families and their lives, we have to ensure that those types of barriers are removed. That's what this bill does. Some of you know and voted on a previous version of the bill, and I took into account what some of the criticisms were. It was just cash. It could be used for anything. This specifically would be a benefit that could only be used for diapers. And I want to thank the committee staff for working so closely with my staff, and the suggestion that it just get added to the EBT card I think is a brilliant one, and one, of course, that we'll continue to work on to incorporate in the bill as it moves forward so that it's a seamless transition or seamless transaction for the person purchasing the diapers. AB 492 fights diaper need for some of those who have come so far already, but need just a little bit more help to make it on their own and to become independent. That's what we hope to do. It is supported by a diverse group of organizations such as the American Society of Pediatrics, the California Catholic Conference, and Parent Voices, and I have with me today some incredible people to testify in support.
Move the bill. Second.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Jessica Bartholow with the Western Center on Law and Poverty. The CalWorks program was established over 15 years ago to support low-income parents to work and to prepare for work, and also to protect children. AB 492 does both. And for this reason, Western Center on Law and Poverty is proud to support it. I want to just raise up a couple of issues I think it's important for you to consider, both in your consideration of this bill, but as we move forward in this legislative year. When the CalWorks program, before the CalWorks program was established, the grant levels in, I'm going to give you the date, in 1996 were 80% of the federal poverty line. Today, in January of 2016, the benefits are 36% of the 2016 federal poverty line. 36% of the federal poverty line in a high-cost county like state like California. What this does is it puts children at risk of losing their lifelong opportunities, of having them reduced. They'll be less likely to have the cognitive abilities to deal with stress, to participate in school, and to exit poverty eventually. An important tool to reduce the likelihood that they'll stay in poverty when they become adults is access to early learning. Supporting their parents to transition to work by making sure that they have the requisite diapers to drop off at the child care provider when she goes to work or work training will help ensure this child's access to early childhood opportunities that will reduce the likelihood that they then become a low-income parent in the CalWORKS program. Unmet diaper need is not just bad for the child, the work opportunity, it's also bad for a parent. The most harrowing research now that I'm reading about unmet diaper need is the connection between a parent experience with their child. When a parent's unable to meet the diaper needs of their child, they become more depressed, less likely to engage with them, to read, to play, and to help them be happy and to strive. And we know that this is something that we want for not just for the children, but for low-income parents as well. So for so many reasons, we support this bill, and our leader, not just in California on this conversation, but nationally. Thank you for introducing this bill, Assemblywoman. Thank you. Urge your aye vote.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Nurbese Flint. I direct policy and manage reproductive justice programs at Black Women for Wellness, and I am here to urge and talk about the importance of passing AB 492. When it comes to hardship of diapers, most of us know of the health impacts of not enough diapers on children and their families. However, rarely do we talk about the very real economic impact and hardship of diapers on low-income families. 1 in 3 low-income mothers reported diaper needs, with younger women in their early 20s, women with multiple children, and grandmothers raising grandchildren the most likely in need. Women of color, and particularly Latinas, are the hardest hit from diapers and diaper shortages. Currently, there is less than 100 diaper banks nationwide, far less than what is needed to supply all the children who in need of diapers. From recent stats, it would take about 6.5 billion diapers to keep every low-income baby born in America clean and dry this year. This is based on a conservative average of 6 changes per day, even though most infants need between 8 to 10. I want to take a moment to talk about poverty in in California, just because we can't look at these things in a vacuum. About half of California's children live in poverty, with 5.1 living in deep poverty. And this is given 80% of their children live in their families with at least one adult that is working, and 60% live in families that at least one adult is working full time. According to both a UCLA and a Harvard study, Los Angeles is rated one of the most unaffordable cities to live in, with 47% of residents who live in Los Angeles. 47% of them. I'm messing up that. Sorry. For residents that live in Los Angeles, spending up to 47% of their income on rent. And this is also saying that the average of what it takes to afford a rent in Los Angeles is about $33 an hour. So keep this in perspective when we talk about the median income of single mothers. Single mothers have a median income of $17,400. The average wealth of Black women and Latino Black and Latino women is $100 and $120 respectively, while the average wealth for single white women is $45,400. We know that women in low income, and particularly women of color, are struggling. So diaper costs. Diaper cost is an average of $18 per week, about $936 per year per child. This expense could make up between 5 and 6% of the average annual income of single mothers for a single child. Given after rent and taxes, most low-income families only have between $100 and $550 to work with. To make ends meet, women use various ways of trying to stretch their diaper supplies, including borrowing diapers or money from friends or family, using diaper banks in churches, and in the most desperate cases, leaving children in diapers longer or reusing disposable diapers. In addition to the primary cost, there's secondary costs of diapers. The majority of child care places do not let you drop off your child without full supply of days worth of diapers, which for most, again, it's 10 diapers per day. The Assemblywoman said that WIC and food stamps don't let you use these subsidies for diapers. Lack of diapers have been linked with mothers missing classes, work, ability to stay into programs, and not being able to get their child into childcare. So with all of this being said, we haven't even talked about the health disparities, which can go from everything from diaper rashes all the way to UTIs and deep emotional and psychological issues for moms and families. We, AB 492 would make a real impact on real families immediately. This small voucher would make the difference for a child to stay in a diaper all day, or a mom being able to go to work. Black Women for Wellness urges your support and a vote for AB 492. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Jennifer Greppy with Parent Voices California. We represent 15 chapters of Parent Voices across the state. And I want to just share with you Emily's story. Emily is a parent that came to us struggling. She was luckily able to enter the CalWorks program. She was so excited knowing that she would be able to get some training and be able to move forward in her life. She found an amazing center in her area. She felt so grateful that her son, David, would be allowed to be in this program where he would learn and grow and thrive. The first day when she went in to drop her son off, she was greeted by the director, who informed her, unfortunately, that she would not be able to stay that day, or that the child would not be able to stay that day because she didn't have diapers for the child. This is only one story of countless moms that have to go without being able to drop their children off in a child care program that is subsidized, but that they can only access if they have the available diapers. This put a stop to her ability to move forward. She was so excited and grateful and really looking forward to her new life. But this one barrier prevented her from being able to do that. Lucky for her, we were able to come together as a community and help her with the diapers she needed to get started. But using her very small cash grant to pay for these diapers on a monthly basis is a huge burden to her and her son. I urge you to please vote yes on Assembly Bill 492. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any additional witness in support, please state your name and affiliation, please.
Lydia Bourne, representing American Academy of Pediatrics. Just briefly, as healthcare providers, we are very much aware of the health conditions that can occur when a mother does not have adequate supply of diapers. Also, a recent Yale study shows that when parents have access to adequate supply of diapers, parental stress is reduced, and we know that that does have an effect on child development. And for those reasons, we are in strong support of AB 492.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members. Gregory Kramer on behalf of Planned Parenthood Affiliates of California, representing over 115 clinics in strong support of AB 492.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Sandra Palacios with the California Catholic Conference in strong support of the bill. And we'd like to thank the Assemblywoman for always keeping in mind the needs of families, making families first, and also commend her for her leadership on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair and member Sean South on behalf of the California Primary Care Association in support. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any witness opposition? Please come forward. Seeing none, the motion is due pass to Appropriation Committee, and we do have Mr. Calderon, a motion, and second by Mr. Stone. Any questions and comments? Vice Chair?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate your heart. I do. I appreciate your heart. We've had several conversations, and I do. I don't like that when you come in and testify and you say that, you know, it's the percentages rate has dropped significantly to, 36% of the, was it 36%? Yeah, of the rate. That doesn't include that we kind of, as a legislature, maybe not us, but previous in this body, have done what I call in the school system categorical spitting. You know, we allocated resources for rent and reduced rent and rent costs. We allocated resources for PG&E and reduced PG, but it goes directly to them. So like there's a reduction of, women that are on assistance, family assistance, get reduced rent in Section 8, reduced care programs for PG&E, reduced child care or child care subsidies. the housing cost. I mean, all those things, and that adds up to a significant dollars. I do understand the fact that the limited cash money that you get that pays for that rent, whether it's $200, $400, $600, $500, whatever it is, I get that is a percentage of the overall cash part of it, and that you can't use. I don't know, your CalFresh card to buy diapers, or you can't use, the voucher for the reduced electricity bill for the care system to buy diapers. I get that. I get it. I was reading, I was trying to figure out a way to support it. I can't support it, but I was trying to figure out a way to support it. But I do have a question. Mm-hmm. I appreciate your opening comments, because I didn't see anything in the bill that said anything about an implementation process or a carryover if someone didn't use it. Mm-hmm. And there's no implementation language. So I am asking for that to see if I can.
And we're going to continue to work. Obviously, nobody likes a new program, right? We're trying to. I have taken what was a large idea and would have been a lot easier to give poor families more money. But I heard people like you say, but who's to say it's not to be used for diapers? So we narrowly tailored this. This is specifically for folks who are already on subsidized childcare, so they've already proven that they are doing their best. It satisfies every one of our values that we talk about sharing, right? The hope that people will work hard, be able to provide for themselves, that they will love and care for their children in a way that meets all of our standards, to be able to do that. The implementation we're still working on, we took the advice of this committee and would like it to go on the TANF cards and be treated the same. So the same way with food stamps, it would carry over month to month if you didn't. I cannot imagine, having been a mother who would not use $50 of diapers. But if there was excess for whatever reason, maybe she got help from somebody else, it could be carried over for, and I think the period is 1 year that is now with the same as CalFresh. So we want to mirror it as much as possible, but keeping in mind that money, that segregated money, can only be used for diapers, and only with women who are continue to be in a program that shows that she's trying to make better for herself and her family. I cannot imagine, and granted, I mean, I was fairly certain that I'd get a lot of support from a lot of people on this committee, but I have tried to come back with a bill as narrowly tailored for those commitments and those values we often say we share, to allow people from the other side of the aisle to vote on this. So I'm hopeful that you will look at it as an opportunity. If that language isn't there, if it gets to the floor, you have another opportunity. But I think that a supportive position now to show that this is something that is narrowly targeted. It reduced the cost by over $100 million. I know it's still a lot, but it's what we say we believe in. We believe in our version of being pro-life. Mm-hmm. Right? We believe that children should have a chance, that women who find themselves in a difficult situation for whatever reason try to better themselves and go to work and get themselves off of public assistance. This reaches every one of those goals. It can only be used for diapers, and I hope that you'll consider voting yes.
Oh, thank you for explaining the implementation stuff to me. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any additional comments, questions? Well, first of all, I want to thank the author for this bill, and also willing to continue working with the committee staff to hopefully fold it into the EBT program. We all know it is really unfortunate that our current CalWORK grant levels still do not allow parents to meet all their children's basic needs. This bill is a good way to reinforce our support for parents who are working or otherwise engaged in the welfare to work activity that leads to employment. And I appreciate the willingness to consider how to best implement this additional benefit as the bill moves forward. So thank you very much. With that, we have a motion and a second. We do? All right, great. Please call the roll.
AB 490.
Excuse me. I forgot to ask Ms. Gonzalez to close.
I'll just respectfully ask for my vote.
Thank you.
AB 492 by Assemblymember Gonzalez. Motion is due pass to the Appropriations Committee. Chu?
Aye.
Chu, aye. Grove? Grove not voting. Calderon? Oh, I'm sorry. No? Calderon? Aye. Calderon, aye. Lopez? Lopez, aye. Mainshine? Stone. Stone, aye. Thurmond. Thurmond, aye. The bill has 5 votes. It's out.
All right. The
Thank you.
bill's out. Congratulations. And we have, is Mr. Bloom in the house? Oh, it's Mr. Manshine.
Yeah, Mr. Manshine.
This one's out. 14. Oh. Mr. Manshine. Oh, okay.
Thank you. Good to be
Miss-
What'd you have? That was very nice of you, Mr. Rotherman.
Mr. Manshine.
Well,
The floor's yours. Who moved this and second? Sermon moved and second by Calderon. Do you want to close?
Yeah. I would I would respectfully request an aye vote. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair and members.
Huh?
Thanks.
It's perfect. Right. So the motion is actually do pass as amended to appropriation. So you will accept the amendment.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Huh? Sorry. Well, we're already closed the presentation, so why don't we could just call the roll?
We have to support an opposition.
Hmm?
We support an opposition.
I think the motion is in support or in opposition.
The audience.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So we do have some witnesses that would like to speak. Please go ahead.
My name is Ed Howard, Senior Counsel of the Children's Advocacy Institute at the University of San Diego School of Law. Pleased to sponsor and support this important measure.
Great. Any additional witnesses in support, please?
Mr. Chair, members, Marty Varanakar on behalf of the California District Attorneys Association. We're in support of this measure. We want people to report child abuse. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much.
Since you're asking, Kathy Sunderling McDonald with the County Welfare Directors Association in support.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Robert Smith with the California Department of Social Services. We don't have a position on the bill, but with respect to the committee's recommendation, of course, the department will be happy to work with the author and sponsors if this bill moves forward. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Any witness in opposition? Seeing none. Any comments, questions from the floor?
45 questions.
45 questions. All right. Yep.
I'm joking. It was a joke.
Oh, it was a joke. Okay. All right.
It's only 44.
But we do have a motion and a second. Do you want to close again?
I'd respectfully request an aye vote.
All right, great. Thank you very much. Can we call the roll, please?
AB 1001 by Assemblymember Mainshine. Motion is due pass as amended to the Appropriations Committee. Chu?
Aye.
Chu, aye. Grove? Aye. Grove, aye. Calderon? Aye. Calderon, aye. Lopez? Aye. Lopez, aye. Mainshine?
Aye.
Mainshine, aye. Stone? Aye. Stone, aye. Thurmond?
Aye.
Thurmond, aye.
Well, the vote is unanimous.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Mr. Mainshine?
Mr. Mainshine, we need you to...
Yeah, would you like?